Hello all, this is lecture 2 of inverter lecture series. In the last lecture, we have seen difference between inverter and UPS. Then after we defined DC link converter and inverter. Then after we have gone through different types of inverter. Then after we understood voltage source and current source just to understand what is voltage source inverter and what is current source inverter. In this lecture, we are going to deal with half bridge inverter. In the last lecture, we have seen bridge type inverter is of two types based on output. We know that output of an inverter is AC. So, as per the output, bridge type inverter is of two types, single phase or three phase. And depending on the semiconductor devices connection, this single phase inverter can be of two types, half bridge type or full bridge type. Similarly, three phase can be of half bridge type or full bridge type. So in this lecture, we are going to discuss single phase half bridge inverter. This is a circuit diagram of single phase half bridge inverter. From the input side, we have to get three wire DC situation. So how we can achieve the situation of three wire DC? We have to take two DC sources of equal magnitude and connect in the right polarity, and this will give three wire DC, wire number 1, wire number 2, wire number 3. Suppose you are having only one DC source, so you need to convert that single DC source into three wire DC source situation. Then only you are able to manufacture or design this single phase half bridge inverter. So with the help of one DC source, by using capacitor, we can do the same. So this is a polar capacitor, and with the help of these two capacitor, we can convert this single DC source into three wire DC source. Although it is having another issues that we are not going to talk at this place. And then after, we have to connect switching device. Here, ACR has been taken T1 and T2 in such a manner that with this DC, it should be in forward bias situation. Okay, it means in ACR at an anode, higher potential of the DC source has been connected, and at the cathode, lower potential has been connected. And along with this switching device, controllable switching device, we need to use diode in anti-parallel manner. Means the anode must be connected to the cathode of individual switching device, controllable switching device, and this cathode must be connected to the anode of this SCR. So this combination is giving one semiconductor device situation which will be used in the inverter. And same thing we have to do with this second one, that is T2 will be connected with anti-parallel with T2, and that is another semiconductor device combination. And at the center, load will be connected. So these are the two centers in between this load has been connected. Now, why we need the combination of a controllable switching device and diode? Actually, in case of inverter, the requirement is a semiconductor device which have capability of unipolar voltage capability and bipolar current capability. So this unipolar voltage capability and bipolar current capability couldn't achieve with a single semiconductor device. And so we need to use combination of two devices, and the two devices will provide unipolar voltage capability. It means this combination can hold the voltage. Okay, voltage is available, but it will not allow uh, to pass the current. But whenever we'll turn on this device, it will allow flow of current in this direction. And when our current has to go in opposite direction, this diode will provide the path. And in opposite direction, we do not need to hold the voltage. And that's why simply we are using a diode. And we know that whenever diode is forward, it will allow flow of current. So the combination of this controllable switching device along with the diode is providing facility of bipolar voltage, bipolar current capability and unipolar voltage capability. In this circuit, silicon controlled rectifier has been used. Practically at normal voltage level, we do not use SCR because turning on the SCR is easy. Just with the help of gate current, we can turn on the SCR, but turning off is a difficult process. We need to have an external commutation circuit which will forcefully off this SCR. So SCR is used in inverter, but at very high voltage. Like in case of high voltage DC transmission, we do use silicon controlled rectifier. But at all inverter which is available at normal voltage level, we either use MOSFET or IGBT. But in our syllabus, SCR has been given, so we will deal with SCR only. Now, one more important point. We have two semiconductor devices here, controllable semiconductor devices here, which are forward biased in nature due to the supply. So we do not have to provide gate pulse to both the devices at the same time, because if we are doing so, we are circuiting the input supply. Okay, so we do not have to give gate pulse to both the switching devices, controllable switching devices at the same time. This situation should never occur. So what we have to do? At one time, we are going to give gate pulse to device number one. There it is indicated by IG1. So IG1 will be start at this place and it will be forcefully turn off at this place. If it would be MOSFET or IGBT, it is very easy to turn off such devices just by removing the gate pulse or making gate pulse equal to 0 volt, devices will be off. In case of SCR, we need to use commutation circuit to do the same. So at this place, we have to turn off first device, and then after we are going to give gate pulse to the second semiconductor device like T2. Okay, so T2 will be on at this place and it will be off over here. Now see, in this case, the place where device is turning off, the first device is turning off, at the same place device 2 is turning on. This is not a practical situation. In in practical situation, there must be a little gap between these two, and this is known as dead time. Okay, but here we are understanding the theoretical situation, and that's why we are neglecting the important consideration, although it is very important practically. Yeah, why we are doing so? Why we are giving this dead time? It is very small, maybe it is in nanosecond, but we have to give it because we must have to ensure that this device number one is fully off. Then after we have to give gate pulse to device number two, and that's why dead time is required practically. But just for the sake of theoretical understanding, we are going through this half bridge inverter, and so we are neglecting this parameter. Okay, so what will happen if we are going to give the gate pulse to device number 1? If you are giving the gate pulse to device number 1, this time the gate pulse to device number 2 is 0. So current will start to flow from this DC source, positive plate of this DC source, through the thyristor number 1, and then it will pass through the load and return to the same place. So this is the direction of flow of current this time. Now apply KVL in this loop to find out how much would be the output voltage. Okay, so I am starting from this point to write the KVL equation. So firstly I am getting negative sign. So I am writing minus Vs upon 2. Then from here to here to here, this device is short circuited, and so nothing. I'm considering the zero ideal situation, that is the zero voltage drop to the device. Now I'm getting positive measurement sign, and this voltage is V0, and as per the KVL it must be equal to 0, and so V0 will be equal to plus Vs upon 2, positive sign. And so the output here it is shown, it is equal to plus Vs upon 2 when we are giving gate pulse to Ig1. Now let's see the next situation when we are giving gate pulse to device number 2. If we are giving gate pulse to device number 2, then this device number 2 will be turned on and current will start to flow in this manner. Okay, so this is the direction of current this time, which is flowing through this device. Why current will not flow in this device? Because it is off. Okay, so current will only flow in this loop, and again by writing KVL equation we can easily find out how much will the output voltage. So from the KVL I am starting from this point, so easily I can write minus in the same way, minus Vs upon 2, and then again this is the minus sign, so minus V0 is equal to 0. Again I am neglecting the voltage drop across this device. Practically there is a voltage drop. For the theoretical understand, we can consider this voltage drop equal to 0, and so this V0 will be equal to minus Vs upon 2, and since it is minus Vs upon 2, and that's why in this case voltage was plus Vs upon 2, in this case it is minus Vs upon 2, so it will return at negative side. Again we are giving in the next time gate pulse to this device number 1, and now this device number 2 is off, and so we'll get the voltage positive, that is plus Vs upon 2. So this will be the outcome situation. So we are going to get, whenever device number 1 is on, output is positive Vs. Whenever device number 2 is on, output is minus Vs, again plus Vs, again minus Vs, and so on. So we are converting DC input. If I will draw the voltage of the two series connected DC, then its graph will look like straight line. Okay, so we are converting this unipolar voltage into bipolar voltage, and that's why we are converting this DC into AC, although it is not a sinusoidal AC. Okay, so if it is not sinusoidal AC, if I'm connecting this kind of output to let us consider fan. So will fan rotate? Yes, fan will rotate. It will rotate due to its fundamental component, and rest of the harmonics will generate problems in the motor. That means it will create heat in the winding, and it will create vibration in the motor. That we will see when we'll do Fourier analysis. Again, we'll come to this point. So what is the drawback of single phase half bridge inverter? The first drawback is it needs 3-wire DC. If you're having even a single DC source, we need to convert 3-wire DC source. Then only you are able to design this circuit. Otherwise, this circuit is not possible at all. The second drawback is at the input side, the total DC value. This is the Vs upon 2, and this one is also Vs upon 2. So total DC voltage is equal to Vs. But how much output we are getting? Output is plus Vs upon 2 and minus Vs upon 2. That means the amplitude of the voltage is only Vs upon 2, whereas we are applying total Vs voltage from the input side. Half of the voltage we are getting at the output, and this is the second major drawback. So in practical cases, we generally do not go for half bridge inverter. We always go for full bridge inverter. So we will stop over here. In the next lecture, we are going to see full bridge inverter. Thank you.